I am a huge fan of saturation. I think many of you know this already. I've even done a video talking just about saturation and where I use it in my mixes. I'll link it to you now. And you know what? I don't need any more saturation plugins. I've got enough. I've got enough color to paint with now. Thank you very much. And then this new plugin came out. I had to try it out because you've got to give it a go, haven't you? And it turns out it's absolutely fantastic. So this is a very quick demo, just taking you through the plugin and a few places where I'm thinking about using it because it sounds great. And you can have a listen and let me know what you think. This is by Plugin Alliance and Neold, and it's called Big Owl. Okay, so we're going to start on something really fantastic for saturation, and that is drums. I love drums anyway, but you give them a little bit of saturation and it just makes them vibier and a bit more fun. So I've inserted this bang on the drum bus. So everything that the drums is doing is coming through this bus. Let's just have a little listen, totally bypassed. All I've got in the drum bus at the moment is this Shadow Hills compressor just doing a tiny bit of work. Okay, beautiful. Get the idea. Now I have inserted Big Owl. Look at this. It's beautiful. It looks old school and lovely. Let's just have a very, very quick look at the controls because I want to try and keep this fairly brief. Over here, you've got the gain control, or the drive rather. That is definitely how much dirt you're putting in there, how much it's going to be saturating it. This is a tube unit, so you're going to get that tube saturation. You've got the low knob here, which is adding more saturation or less saturation to the lows, but also increasing or decreasing the level as well at the same time. And then we've got the high knob, which is doing the same sort of thing, but with the highs. Specifically, the low is actually looking at 100 hertz and the high is looking at 10k. Okay, and then you've got your on and off toggle over here. You've got a mix control, which is super useful. And then over here, you've got some jumpers, which change the tone a little bit. So the E is emphasis on the mid-range, which I'll show you an example of in a little bit. You've got the B, which is essentially focusing on the low end that much more. And then you've got the voltage sag, and I'm going to read a little bit from the manual. It basically says, blah, 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 when you raise this drastically raises the generation of even order harmonics, which adds a subtle rasping quality to Big Owl's saturation characteristics, especially when the signal starts to break up. In a nutshell, it just does some really cool things. Okay, let's have a quick listen because it's really, really fun, and I think we just need to do that right away. Okay, let's start with everything off. It already kicks in with 14 on the drive, so let's just see what that's doing. Not too much there, very subtle, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up that drive, show you what happens when you smash it, and then just settle it back to a more usable level. I mean, that's just cool in itself, really, isn't it? Brilliant, but let's go back to a more usable place. Nice. I like it there where you're just starting to hear that much more energy and it's starting to get just a little bit crunchy, but not too aggressive at the moment. So we're going to go with that, and then I'm just going to adjust the lows and highs. You'll see exactly what they're doing. Really does some cool stuff. Let's bring that back to 0. We're going to look at the highs now. Even the top end, although it's quite bright, it's not really fatiguing. It's not too aggressive. I guess that'll be the tube saturation in there. It's that much more pleasing. But let's just bring it back to a slightly normal, more usable level than that. Nice. We're going to bring in the lows a bit more too. Now we're starting to hear the dirt that little bit more. possibly that little bit too aggressive, but if we just adjust the mix, we can maybe just dial that in a bit nicer. Let's just level match that a little bit. Right, so you can really hear that it's definitely bringing so much more vibe to it, and you can hear the shift of the highs. But like I say, it's not too aggressive. It's actually really quite sweet, and with that, that's mixed in about 55% at the moment. I love it. Okay, let's have a little look at something slightly different. We're going to have a little look at a vocal. It's a fairly aggressive vocal, just so you know. I could try it on something a little bit softer, but I don't want to. Gangsta. So let's have a look and see how this sounds, what we can get from it. And I'm also going to use the emphasis on the mid jumper here, so I'll slip that in a little bit and just show you some cool stuff you can get out of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out some of the other saturation I've already got on there. Just for the record, I've got a very teeny amount of Devil Lock, and I've got a little splash of the old black box. As you know, as I said before, I love saturation. So let's take those off. Let's have a little listen. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Right, I'm just going to have a little play around and just get a little bit of a vibe going, and then let's talk about it. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. Even just with that little bit, it gives it that little bit more aggression. It allows it to cut through the mix that little bit more and just gives it a little bit more character. Let's try going a bit more aggressive on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this mid emphasis, and I'm going to smash the squiz out of it and see what we can get that's usable. In fact, just have a little listen to that, and you'll hear the difference between the emphasis on the mids on and off. Take it with it off first. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. It's quite nice. It just gives it a little bit more focus in the mid-range, which is especially good for the vocals. So right now we're going to actually smash it. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Obviously, we're not going to leave it like that in general, but let's mix it in and see what happens. Let's go from 0 and bring it in. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Die! Lay! Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've been feeding. Very, very nice indeed. Now, let's just try it in a full mix just to get a bit of an idea. Stop! Wait! Not afraid of you. I've spilled blood. You've I like it a lot. So I've just slipped it on to a bass DI track. Let's just have a very quick listen to what that's doing. That's how it sounds already. And now I'm just going to have a little bit of a play around. Something I'm definitely going to focus on this one is the mid emphasis, because that always does a good thing in bass. But let's just give it a bit more crunch and just play around with some of the controls and see if I can get something sounding nice. Yeah, it really works. It gives it some really nice bite. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring in the drums, because drums and bass work really well. We know this. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. And now, lastly, I'm just going to chuck it on a whole mix. It's probably not going to need this, but I just want to see what it sounds like. I'm also going to engage this voltage sag as well, on and off, just for a little bit of fun. But I'm just going to play around and get something cool, and then just see what it does.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill.
I mean, just for fun, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood.
It would make Trent Reznor proud. Okay, let's back it off. Okay, here we go.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die.
Notice when I change the voltage sag, the high end and the mid frequencies and the high end actually just change a little bit in a really nice way.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop.
Yeah, it's cool.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait.
Obviously, it's a little bit more aggressive than I'd usually do, but I want to try and show you what it can do and what the sound of the unit is actually adding to the mix. So we're going to have a little bit more low, a little bit more high there, and I'm going to mix it in and try and get something sounding cool.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait.
Nice. So there was just a little bit mixed in. That's about 30%, which is probably more than I'd really use. But just nudging it in, it does bring some more energy to the mix. Let's just check that out one more time, and I'll A-B it for you.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid of you.
You can notice in there, yes, the high end came out, the cymbals, the hi-hats came out that a little bit more, but it also brought more presence, more weight to the snare drum in there. That's what I'm really hearing in there. It's actually bringing a little bit more focus to the mix and just a little bit more energy. Let's just go one more time.
Stop, wait, not afraid of you. I'll spill blood you've been feeding. Die, hey, stop, wait, not afraid
Yeah, I like it. It's a winner. Go and check it out.